Welcome back, America. I'm Hugh Hewitt. One of the great Americans I know is Mike Lindell. You know him because you see him on TV and on radio. He runs MyPillow.com, and I always tell you he makes the best towels in America. But the reason I love Mike Lindell, he's been on the show before, is because of his personal story. He's now finally written it down. I think people have been telling him for years to write the book, and it is out now. From Crack Addict to CEO. It's at Amazon. I just tweeted out the link. It's in bookstores everywhere. Mike Lindell, welcome to the Hugh Hewitt Show.
Thanks for having me on, Hugh.
Mike, I want to start at the beginning. You are from Minnesota. Tell people where you were born and raised, and then when you fell into the clip of addiction.
I was born and raised in Chaska, Minnesota. Well, I was born in Mankato, Minnesota, but I was born and raised in Minnesota. And my parents divorced when I was 7, so when divorces weren't common, and I got put into new school. And basically, I look back now, and it was a lot of fear of rejection. So I was either kind of shy or I would just show off, one of the two. And that kind of went through the teens. It gets up to about 1982, and I was introduced to cocaine. And when I was introduced to cocaine, then I could finally talk to people. I think addiction, I think things that happen in childhood, manifest into rejection. Or you feel it was a self-worth thing. Yeah.
You went from cocaine to crack next, right?
Right. I went to crack in the early 2000s, and when about the time I invented a few years later, I invented my pillow. But it was when I got into crack cocaine, it was like 2 railroad tracks parallel. One of them was this high speed, just addiction craziness, and the other one, I dove into my pillow and put all my energies there. But when I invented it, I was turned down everywhere, and that was kind of devastating. And I ended up doing home shows and fairs for 7 years. But in the meantime, I had a lot of betrayal. I lost a 20-year marriage, and it got down to 2008, where even the drug dealers did an intervention on me. I was up for 14 days, and they said that you're not getting any more crack until you go to bed. And then one dealer said I couldn't find any on the streets. They wouldn't let me buy on the streets either. And I came upstairs. He says, he said, you've been telling us for years you're going to write this book. And this pillow is just a platform for God. You're going to come back and help us someday. And so that's come full circle now. So it's pretty amazing.
Now, Mike Lindell, a lot of people listening are addicts, right? They're driving to work, but they are what we call high-end addicts, meaning they function very well. Obviously, even though you were addicted to crack cocaine, you were functioning very well. You were running My Pillow into this giant, enormous business. Speak to the high-end functioning addicts out there. What should they do today?
Well, you bring up a good point. Addiction affects everyone. Doesn't matter how many forks you eat with. And the addiction, people are dying now out there. It's such an epidemic in our country. But the best thing you can do is faith-based treatment centers. Your Teen Challenge, Salvation Army, these kind of treatment centers, and everybody is looking for, or everybody here knows someone that's died, something that's happened. What people need to do, addicts or even addicts' family, is look for someone that's made it through. And there's hope out there. There's success. Like my story. This book is a story of hope. It's for the country, and everyone knows someone else that has made it through it. How did they make it through it? You look at, what did they do? How did they get through it? And your peers. And that's what I have a recovery network, a Lindell Recovery Network, coming out in about a month and a half. I believe it's going to be the best online and help ever put out there for addicts, because I think one of the things, Hugh, in our country, they have all these regulations which the president's getting rid of, but they like 38 states have regulations where in order to be a counselor for an addict, you have to go to school for 4 years or college. Well, I've forgotten more about addiction than most people would ever know, and so have other addicts. I want to see other addicts counsel me that made it through, and that's a simple thing. Go where go where the help is that someone has made it through.
I'm talking with Mike Lindell, founder of MyPillow.com, and everybody knows the MyPillow ads. I talk about MyPillow on my show all the time. I urge you to buy the towels. I urge you to use my name, Hugh. But what I really urge you to do is go get the book From Crack Addict to CEO and give it to anyone in your life who you think is addicted. Mike, Larry Kudlow is an alcoholic. He comes on my show whenever he does. I ask him how his recovery's going. He's always very candid about it. He wants everyone to know he's going to meetings and that sort of thing. Are you still going to meetings?
No, I never went to meetings. I went to, it was January, just yesterday was my 11th year of being straight. It was January 16, 2009, and I was set free of the desire by the grace of God. But I did go to a faith-based treatment center a couple months after that to find out why I was addicted in the first place. And that's what I'm saying. When you talk about meetings there or anything, it's going where someone else or going to someone else that's made it through. It's just like in business. You look at your successes and your failures. Well, go where the success is and duplicate it. And that's what, that's what people need to do. And they're going to find out that it's God. I think, to have that, that's why our secular treatment centers do not work in this country. You get in there and they shame you and say, oh, you hurt your kids, you spent all your money, you think what life would be if you weren't an addict, and you get out and you feel even more shame and more failure, and you're just waiting for like a ticking time bomb. Well, if you go to a teen challenge or a Salvation Army, or you go to meetings where they put God first, and you get that foundation in your life, and then you have something to fall back on. Because one of the things addicts have to realize, if you do, the first ones that trust, you're not going to get trust right away. The first ones that trusted me were my drug dealers, and then the people I did drugs with. They go, wow, he really did quit.
What, Mike Lindell, what's amazing to me is you were building MyPillow. MyPillow is enormous. I don't even know how to describe to people how big MyPillow is. How many pillows do you make in a year?
I don't know how many we make in a year now. We've sold 46 million, and I have 1,600 employees, and it just keeps getting bigger every day. I've got expanded to my Giza sheets, the towels you talked about, and all these other products that help people, and it's just been amazing.
By the way, compliments on the towels. Finally, someone makes a towel that's big enough for a normal human being. It's MyPillow's towel. I think you should call it mytowel.com. But what I was asking you, did anyone know when you were building the company that you were addicted? Did your employees know that, the boss was going out for a snort of crack cocaine?
Well, that would be cocaine. That would be cocaine. Crack is a different drug. Crack, you smoke it, and but that being said, I was a very functioning cocaine. With crack, it's very hard to hide it. And I only had, you got to realize, maybe at one time I was down to 3, and me and 2 other people working at MyPillow. So it was a very, when I did my first infomercial, here's an interesting fact. To answer your question, yes, people were well aware after 2000, in mid-2000, 2007, 2008, and my son left me. He was living with me, and he said, I can't take it anymore. I thought I was hiding it, but I wasn't. And interesting enough, but after I quit everything, January 16, 2009, I spent 2 years trying to get my ground back. MyPillow was taken. A couple guys had taken and copied it, but in 2011, I said, you know what? By then I had the trust of my friends and family back, and I convinced them to do an infomercial. I said, we're going to do an infomercial. It's going to be the biggest one in history. And we went to film this, and I couldn't talk. I was very shy, and because I'll just, you can't get rejected if you don't talk, and I still didn't have my self-worth back. Well, we went to film this infomercial, and they brought in a guy, a producer the night before, and we were doing our reads, and he texted the other guy, he said, this guy's the worst guy I ever seen. He's never going to make it on TV. And we went from 10 employees to 540 days.
Now, Mike Lindell, how long did it take you to write From Crack Addict to CEO?
It took about 7 years. It turned out exactly the way I wanted it. As far as when you read the book, it's going to read like the best fiction novel you ever read, and then you're going to go, wait a minute, this is real. And it's not just about addiction. It's about entrepreneurship. It's about, I was your everyday. I was 20 years. I raised 4 kids. Our house was where the neighbors sent their kids. I'd make tents in the backyard. And you'd think, everybody, it was hidden addiction. And, but entrepreneurship, I tried many different things and, was never afraid to jump in and try something. And with the economy we have right now, what a great time for entrepreneurs and inventors and people getting into business, because you have a safety net of the best economy in history to fall back on. So I tell anybody out there, don't be afraid to jump in and try something now, because my books it's really going to give people a lot of hope.
That is what I hope people who are struggling with addiction or have people in their lives who are. Go get From Crack Addict to CEO by Mike Lindell. Follow Mike on Twitter at Real Mike Lindell, 2 L's at the end, at Real Mike Lindell, and go to Amazon.com for Crack Addict to CEO. I have tweeted out the link, and thank you, Mike Lindell. Always a pleasure to talk to you, friend.